Hey, good evening, everyone, and happy Sunday night here from Unlock the Middle Land, where we have an opportunity to really reach out across the country and make connections with people who just make our job a little bit easier. My name is Dean Packard, and I'm the principal of Charlton Middle School in Charlton, Massachusetts. And alongside of me, I have Josh Tovar from the great state of Texas. And Josh, every Sunday night we have an opportunity to come together and just have that conversation about things that just, we deal with each and every day. But in the end, we always find little nuggets that help us become a little bit better. So again, that's what I love about Sunday nights. And tonight we're going to take a little different turn. But before we do, how you doing, amigo? Nice to see you.
Doing good, brother. Here, kind of like a mellow day over here, preparing for last week of school. Everything's always great, Here, like you said, we put those nuggets, and my Lord, have you sat back and you thought about the conversation we've had,
Man,
and then the guests that we've had, and what they brought to the table? Like when you and I discuss this, via text. That's what we do, guys. We start texting each other, and then we've had so many guests that we haven't had time to just reflect not only on the semester, but what all these tools that have been brought to us. So I was just thinking about, wow, I mean, this is a good reflection show for us as people that sit in our chair, the main chair of each campus, is taking time to, what are we using from that? What are we using as people that lead a campus? I don't know. What do you think, Dean? What have you picked up so far this semester?
well, not so much of what I picked up because every Sunday night I walk away and I walk away learning something new from these people. But you know what I wish, Josh, and I wish that I could really inspire my own educational teachers in my building to jump on a platform like this and just find other teachers that teach the same content that they do and just kind of banter. I mean, this is not hard. It's not rocket science. I remember when we first started doing this 3 years ago, and Chris and I started it up. It was like, you know what? We took a risk. We said we're going to do something different. And I never dreamed by the fact that we would have over 400 episodes of meeting people and growing personally and professionally. That is just unbelievable. And, as I look back on what I bring from these shows back to my school, I lay it out and I put together a whole best practice platform for my staff to be able to look at anytime that they want. And like I said, it's free PD. So why wouldn't you take advantage of that? And why wouldn't you go sniffing around and trying to see who's out there, what they're doing, and why they're doing it? Because that's how we all get to where we are today. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, Josh.
Well, I agree with you. And you know what? If you're tuning in right now, whatever platform, in link, Twitter, Facebook, hey, toss out some questions or some comments. Let's make this interactive with everybody out there. And it's that conversation that I also have with our team members there at MPA. And we've taken like little steps forward where I have more people tweeting out, and to me that's a great sign of success because at least they're starting to use that platform because it
Yeah.
was
Well,
very hard to find anybody to just capture the beautiful thing because you know what, and it's a school that
mhm,
it's all at risk,
yeah.
and every single last student in there is either going through obstacles or learning English, and it takes a true master educator to be able to connect with them but also teach them content. And I say you guys are doing brilliant teaching, brilliant pedagogy. Put it out there because someone in Iowa is getting this kid from Guatemala. Somebody in Minnesota just got a kid from Mexico, and we got to be able to ship out our ideas of how we connect with them. So I'm very happy, just based on what you're saying, that more of our team members are getting involved in social media. I don't know about out there. How about you all? Anybody that's picking this up or the rebroadcast? Are you guys seeing more people getting on social media? Uh,
Well, Josh, you do say that, and there are obstacles to that. And I fought those with some of my staff members who were like, I'm not putting anything on social media because it's going to come back. It's going to be held against me in some capacity. And I get that. And some teachers are really still like their personal quietness of their classroom. And what I try to say is if you can't tell your story and get it out there to everybody, then guess what? Others are going to tell it for you. So take that snapshot. Just, make sure you're capturing something that it really defines you as a teacher. And I would love to be able to see, all staff involved in some capacity marketing the great things that they do, not just teaching it, but marketing it, because that's where you turn the level. That's when you get to that next opportunity to really grow, and not only for yourself, but you can end up connecting with others in some capacity. Think about that for a second and how big that is for a professional journey. I mean, to me, it's a no brainer, but
what do they tell you, Dean? I would like to know what the conversation is in the New England area about what obstacles they see when you say that they're coming back or they might get blowback. What does that look like?
Well, it's what I always tell people is leave opinion out of it and let the picture take the story where it's going. And talk about something that is content driven, or talk about something that is relational to the fact of a child showing high levels of engagement with something. You can't get in trouble for that. You can never get in trouble for that. Perception will always be perception, but the perception of what we do when we do it well should be marketed at a very high level. If you're a social studies teacher and you're getting into a banter on, social media about political parties or ideologies and things of that nature, of course you're going to get blowback. You're going to get it no matter what you do. But in the end, if you keep it global and understand in this world that we live in, everybody has a right to have an opinion and everybody has a right to have their own beliefs. And guess what? You'll generally be fine. It's that I guess it's that brain mindset when you can't get out of what you think you have to say compared to what you should be saying. Does that make sense, Josh?
It does, and it's just, I guess on my end, it's more of the how to that
Yep.
they fear. And so I had this young lady, one of our team members, and she just barely started tweeting, and she's she's very seasoned, and she started posting stuff, and she like, did you see my tweet? Did you see my tweet? And the kids were doing a gallery walk in the hallway, and I'm like, oh my, just that you're doing that as a math teacher. I think it was quadrants, and they were working in teams to do the gallery walk. And remember, these are kids that are learning English. I'm
Yep.
like, that's just all around that. Number one, you're taking that step forward, and that you're using that pedagogy that's kinesthetic, and it's purposeful talk amongst the kids. I mean, that's fabulous. So those are the kind of joys that obviously something that we're putting out there into the bloodstream of the campus is happening and taking place.
Could you get that same teacher to drop it into TikTok and put it into the kids' hands from the level that they're at? So again, it's one thing on Twitter, another thing on Facebook. There are different platforms for everything.
Right.
And I connect ours with our school. So whatever CMS principal one puts out, the entire learning community will be able to see it, even if they're not on social media. But if you're going to meet kids where they are, it's a different mindset. You want to meet community members where they are, that's a different mindset. So there's a lot of weeds to sift through. There really are, unless you tie all your messages out in one place
Hmm.
and they all go to the same place, then it's not so bad.
So let me ask you something.
Shoot.
Just looking back at our the list of guests that we've had, what has been your like aha moment? Dean, what have you picked up from? What have you appreciated being part of a conversation with?
Well, break that down a little more because I think every single person we've had on has brought something to the table that has caught my attention in some capacity. So
Okay,
give
let's talk.
me,
Hey, Jefe, greetings. Hopefully, you're not packing up to go somewhere. Christopher
yes,
Capella in the house.
greetings as well. Yes.
So, like I was saying, you know what? I enjoyed this summer, Dean,
Yep.
when we did the podcast smash, when we
Yep.
brought in all the other podcasters, and then you know what? For me, it just made me feel very comfortable that we're not islands unto ourselves. That there are so many people that have. There you go, Jefe. So January 2nd. That we have so many people out in the United States that are promoting education and pedagogy and motivation and just drive for making kids better and making each
Yep.
other better and having all of these different people, Marty Silverman, the Texas Connection, we had the principal leadership, we
Yep.
had Brad Hughes. I
Yep.
mean, all these different podcasters on together. It was great to hear them. And, it's doesn't matter where you're from, like minds, we all gather together. What do you think about those different podcast smashes that we had?
Well, I think that they too, they were not afraid to take a risk. They're not afraid to sell what they do. And quite frankly, they're not afraid to make a positive difference. And when you sit in front of the video here and you project out, what you're doing is you're giving the world a little snippet of what's inside your head and what's inside your soul. And at the end of the day, in education, we need to be able to get out in front. I mean, public education as a whole is still antiquated. It truly is. I'm not talking just in the funding capacity of it, but in things that we do. And there are great strides out there in classrooms. There are great things happening. And these podcasters are getting out there. And we've had people on who are teachers who are podcasters. You have people on educational consultants, authors, leaders. All these people are doing the same thing we're doing for the same purpose. And that's to help. That's to help make this educational platform better. So, I mean, again, going back, I mean, one that I really enjoyed was Darren Peppard, and I loved how he came out and he's. I mean, and again, they're all. I mean, we got a list of them. I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out, but at the end of the day, they all have that unique purpose, and that purpose of trying to make others better around them. And to me, that's good stuff.
I agree, and I would just say, and I don't mean to step on your sentence, but I think that as individual administrators, people need to see our thought processes. You and I talk back and forth because we do this over the phone with our colleagues in our districts.
Sure.
But it's not like we're leaving anybody out. But there's people that gave us those aha moments. For me, we've had 2 superintendent roundtables. Tell me that conversation was not hot.
It was great. Yeah. Well, you're looking at 30,000 feet and you're looking for organizational management instead of building based management. So again, the lens changes from the level of altitude that you're dealing in education. Now, the one common core focus is still what's good for kids. There's no doubt about that. But you got so many different levels of things. And you're right, Josh. Those conversations were really unique. And they were, I don't want to say that they were different, but they gave me perspective from a different level. And then trying to get that perspective back into your own learning community, your own district sometimes, not always the easiest thing to do. But again, because I think every culture of every town and every city has a little different flair to it. So again, you want to make sure that you just lay things out there that are succinct and always good for kids. And then you can't go wrong in this business. You just can't.
And just shameless plug, we got superintendent roundtable this Thursday.
Yeah.
We're changing the time. It's 8 p.m. to accommodate our different regions of the United States. 8 p.m. on this Thursday. Superintendent Roundtable number 3 coming up.
Looking forward to that. Say hi to Kip. Say hi to Mel. They're all out there tonight.
Mel, hey,
absolutely.
Kip, Mel,
these guys are great
for being here. We need some of that secret sauce, Kip. Where's that secret sauce?
The secret sauce keeps flowing. I love that.
And you know what? I think that one for myself, one of the conversations that really hit was having the EL instructors, the emergent bilingual.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just look at the news. We're not talking red, purple, blue, yellow, orange. I don't care your politics. I'm just saying the reality is that a bunch of immigrant students are coming into this country and they're being shipped in different areas. That's a reality. We're seeing that on the news. And so it's how do we help that individual in South Dakota? How are we going to help that individual in Iowa? How about over there in Atlanta, Georgia, when these emergent bilingual students come to them? How are we helping them out? What are we doing? And having that conversation, people that are national speakers, people that daily deal with them, I think brought a lot to the table. And I don't. And you said in your area of New England, you don't have a lot of emergent bilinguals, correct?
We don't. In fact, we have probably ELL. We probably have 7 kids out of 600. So it's a different atmosphere, a different culture. What I would love to see what that would look like. And, if you go to the surrounding cities around us, of course, there'll be a heck of a lot more. But in our small town, suburban area, there's just not a lot. So again, kids are kids and they all have unique needs when they come in, but to see somebody who is totally inept in the language and learn by immersion, think about that for a second and how that really translates back into the mind and the ability to learn. I think that's absolutely incredible. I really do.
I think another thing that stood out to me was this last Thursday. I think we've had like 4 teacher roundtables. I think this last one was really fun, where we have team members from around the country at different grade levels. It's just hearing the stories is just something else. How they became educators, what they see, what they expect out of leadership. That's the trenches. Those are the team members we need to really dig into and get them see what they're how are they going through life right now. It's crucial to have those conversations with them.
Yeah. Well, we were doing a celebration of excellent teaching in the classroom for a long time, and we kind of put that on hold. And we should probably go back to that a little bit in some capacity because you know what? The educators never get the credit that they deserve. And you find that educator who's making a difference within any school, and you want to make sure that we're getting out in front and we're recognizing them and celebrating them because in the end, they are the people that are in front of the kids the most. And they're the ones who are making the biggest difference. There's no doubt about that. Our job, Josh, as you do it, and you do it very well, is to steer the ship and to steer it in a direction where you empower the people around you, give them opportunity to build capacity, and then stand back and celebrate the heck out of them. And Josh, my friend, you do that better than anybody that I know. So again, that creates culture, that creates purpose, and that creates why inside of any building. So you leaders out there who are watching, make sure you follow MPA underscore Go Jaguars Josh Tovar, and he'll show you, he'll lead you. He won't show you, he'll lead you.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'll send you the $20 in a little bit.
Yeah, there's no need. No need.
Hey Kip, yeah, it is tough, Kip. Reading this comment right there on Facebook, it's very tough, Kip. And you know what? I've been around different situations where people just get frustrated because they want to connect with a kid, but there's no. And Google, and just so you all know out there, Google Translate is horrible.
It is horrible. I agree with you.
It's horrible. It's regional. So if you get a Spanish and you're talking Dominican Republic versus Mexican, it's totally different. And some of the words that are said. So yeah, I feel your pain there, Kip. It's something else. And you talked about Darren, who you connected.
Oh, it's awesome, baby. Darren, if you're out there, man, I'll tell you, we're going to retweet this back out to you. I personally appreciate, the connectability you have with, I can reach out to you at any time. And I know that you're there to make people around you better and anybody in the leadership role or anybody in education. And that's another thing, Josh, that we don't always talk about, the follow-up of the people that we bring on the show and the connectivity of the circle that we create. And I know that you send out text messages to them all the time, to everybody, and you just stay in touch. And again, what it does is it ties in what we're doing, man. It just ties in, and it gives you that ability to have that balanced mindset. So yeah, go back to that. What you said.
I want to send a shout out, and I really appreciate this. And yeah, I hopefully by now everyone understands that when I talk to you, I'm telling you this, what I'm feeling from my heart. It's just straight out. There's, as a wise man always says, there's no faking the funk. I really appreciate Principal Cafele bringing us together as a nucleus with other podcasters, with Sean Hurd, which we've had on the show, with Shika and Tammy, which we've had on the show, Roz, which we've had on the show, and most importantly, having Hefe here, that he gave up his time to come in and spread his will, and even the interview that we did with him was not the normal Principal Cafele interview. I mean, it was something that's bonding, and here we have people from Maryland, we have people from South Carolina. I believe Coach Hurd from Michigan. You got Principal Cafe from New Jersey New Jersey. You got you from Massachusetts, me from Texas, and we have a situation where we're all bonded with one best practice for kids. And you know what? These are people from different age factors, different racial backgrounds, different upbringings, and you know what? We're all united. And shout out to you, Principal Cafele, for what you do, bringing the Fantastic Four together, and spreading out the message. And if you notice, Dean, and I don't know if you check out the other members often, but everyone always promotes each other. At the end of Coach Hurt, they promote all the Fantastic Four. Shika promotes everybody. Principal Cafele when he closes it out, and Roz also. So it's a beautiful thing that though we do not live in the same independent school district, we don't live in the same district, we don't live in the same state, we live in the same concept, which is kid concept. Because you know what? All of us are tied together, making sure that we bond for the betterment of our community, which becomes the betterment of our beautiful country that's out there.
Yeah, we're also genuine. You talk about all the people you just mentioned. They have a genuine good soul for doing what's right. And I'll tell you what, those are the people that make the biggest ripple for anything that they do. And at the end of the day, Principal Caffelli doesn't have to go on every Saturday morning. Nobody has to go on and do this. It's a calling and it's a purpose. Okay. It takes time. You take time away from your family. You take time away from the things you'd want to do. But in the end, these people have dedicated their lives to making a difference in the field of public education or in education in general. So, if you do have time to do that and you due diligence and listen and see what they're sending out, please, man, it's just good stuff. I call it the peacefulness of our business, because it just makes it clear that no matter where you are, whether you're in Massachusetts, whether you're in Maine, whether you're in Texas or California, Dominican Republic, I don't care where, we all have the common needs to feel like we're part of something bigger than what we are. And when you get that chain built, all of a sudden, the sky's the limit on what you can do. There's no doubt.
And I like to throw a big kudos to you, bro, because not only have you evolved this show to where now we're have 3 shows, the flagship show. We have that 20. That was a great idea you came up with. On Tuesday, office hours, 20 minutes in and out. But it's actual stuff that we deal with as administrators. None of the scenarios, none are fake.
Right.
They're all actual things that have happened.
Right.
So that's creating a pipeline of knowledge that it's codified in YouTube and in social media that other people can look up, with cheerleaders and cookie dough money and things like that. And then the Thursday show, the Red Zone, you said, hey, let's do something that's different. That's great, bro. So high five to you and your thought process and everything that you're doing, because I think that all these shows are relevant to the audience that they're targeted to, because we really do not overlap.
No.
We really don't overlap. The flagship show is the flagship show.
Yep.
The office hours is office hours, and the Red Zone is the Red Zone. And the most important part for me is that you learn what time they're on. I love that. I love that you learn what time.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, for the audience out there, this guy right over here, he keeps me grounded. I'll tell you, in the crazy world that I live in, trying to ensure that I meet all the things I'm supposed to do, I sometimes get caught up saying, what time is this and what time is that? But I will tell you this, I try never to miss one. And I tell you what, it does make me better by holding, that line and making sure that I get a chance. And Josh, we talk about this. We've had everybody on, all different types, amazing women in education. We've had people from every background you can think of. And that goes to show you the smorgasbord of excellence that's out there. And this isn't about any one particular person. This is about people. And we're in a human business, like we say this all the time. We love people that come on here that can sell themselves, and they're not afraid to be able to tell about the great things that they do, and be humble. Gosh, at the young age that I am, just a little bit north of 50, okay, I still, Josh, I'm learning every single day. And I don't care who I'm listening to. I'm picking up little tidbits. And, and I'll say to kids when they're in my office, your learning journey is just starting right now. You've got so far to go. So all I want you to focus on is how to make good decisions. I don't care about the content area. You're going to learn that. But that's going to come to you. But how you learn, that metacognitive piece of life, learning to learn, that's the biggest gift we can give to kids. And we can only do that if they're balanced, if they have a relational connection with somebody, and more importantly, that they feel part of a learning community. If you have those things together, guess what, Josh? You've got one of those schools, and you're on the road to awesome, Darren, right there. I'm going to say that to you right there. You're on the road to awesome, and I'll make sure I tag that out when we go.
Most definitely. And you know what? Like you said, when we go from Marlena Valentine, who faced those physical problems and still kept leaving the campus.
Yeah.
Then we go to Craig Boykin, from GED to PhD, who just gave an in-service, I believe, at Harvard.
Yeah.
And then you go to Brandon Beck, who just finished the soccer playoffs in his state. He didn't reach it all the way.
No, he came up just short. But man, you would never know that by talking to him.
And then think of that, and then you got an emerging speaker with the boss, La Quanta Nelson, who a fabulous administrator. She's kicking up to another level. Myself, like I said, it's just knowledge after experience, that it's just something else. And John Corripo.
Yeah, well, John's amazing. I still go back and watch that.
We don't say anything. What do we do when he's here?
You just roll. Well, yeah, that's right. You fold your arms and sit back and listen. Put on the seatbelt. Put on the seatbelt and let him go.
But it's all drop, mic
Yeah.
drops.
Well,
That's
yeah,
all
but
it is.
think about that for a second, though. You're talking from a Division 1 football coach mindset. Bring the philosophy of systems that work and how you bring every piece of the puzzle together. I mean, John's a rock star, and it's not rocket science. It's about the system that he puts into place. I mean, I saved that one. And I play that one all the time. I put that on my weekly express to my staff. Just watch this. Just listen to him.
Well, you have
So,
to because that guy just dropped so much knowledge that you're like, hold on. This caveman needs a little bit rewinding
yep,
on that one. It's just
yep.
something else.
No,
So I think again, it's a great thing that you've done, creating this platform, making
yeah.
sure that you're consistent
Yeah,
with
and
it.
kudos to Chris Starcheski, who is the
Yeah,
kids are very young. Chris is still part of this. He's on the back side of it. He'll be back. I know that for a fact. And it's again when you're balancing a family with young kids and trying to be here all the time. It's not easy. It's not easy. So again, my kids are older, so it makes it a little bit more
of course.
easier for me. There's no doubt about that. But still have the same obligations of getting ready for work and doing the other things.
Let's
Yeah.
send a big high five to Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Bang, give it up to him. Boom, we'll get him, and we'll make sure that he's tagged out on this as well. But we talk about the evolution of this program and where it's going to go. Josh, I can tell you, I don't know. I think that we need to keep thinking about the relevancy of what we can bring for content out. I would love to be able to see more student engaged conversations about topics that we adults think are important in education. If you think about that for a second, who's your greatest barometer of success ever when it comes to classroom learning? It's kids. It's kids. They will tell you. And sometimes it's fearful to get their feedback, but the reality is if you get it, you might be able to make the shifts to become that much better. And that goes for us administratively too. You know,
I,
kids, they want to be
I,
respected.
I remember what you used to do, and then I think it was on Thursdays that you had the magnificent teachers and the kids corner or something like that you used to have before, correct?
Yeah, we did that. Yep. Yep.
I think
And we
that
brought,
they
we
had.
brought on perspective from them and things of that nature. And again, I'd like to connect that around the country in some point. And like I talked to you about having some of your kids come on, we can debate things and just what good high quality learning looks like. How do you learn your best? What is it that you need? How can a teacher provide the tools you need to be successful? And again, that's a simple process, but you put 20 kids in a room, 25 kids in a room, and you worry about them wanting to be liked before learning, and guess what you get? It's a hard classroom environment sometimes. So again, that's when you say the conductor is that teacher. They sure are. They are the conductors, and they can make or break opportunities for kids very quickly. And some of them that are so good to watch is like just sit back and just say, "Go, let me get out of your way," because these kids are just engulfed by the learning.
And that's a big invite to everybody. Someone please share this out. We really want either administrators. I've been finding and looking for people on LinkedIn, and they say yes, we're gonna have a bunch of brand new people coming around in 2023. And so if you have an idea, if you have a concept, let us know. Share it. Let us know because you know what? As we always say, it's not a lie. It's true. We're only stronger together.
Yeah.
So share. Give us your comments. We have people for Colombia with Mel.
Yep.
We've got Pam from Dominican Republic.
Sure.
We've had in Guatemala. I forgot Sandra's. I think Sandra's her name. We've got Quebec. We've got Brad Hughes. We've got Canada. So
Yep.
this show.
Dan Edwards from England. So we've had people on from all over the place. Dan Edwards. That was before you. I don't know if you were around back when we had that, but he came on. He was great. He was great.
And so, hey, Shika, fantastic
Chica's in the house.
in the house.
There we go.
And think it just. I want you to. We're getting close to signing off. We wanted to make this a quick, reflection show for both. Is good job, Dean? You and Chris. Look at what you started during COVID, and now you've got global input. You've got the Fantastic Four. You never thought you would have the Fantastic Four in global input. And
No.
check out how it's evolving, and now hopefully in 2023 we make your vision come to light by having kids part of this. Structured because
Of
we want
course.
to make parents feel comfortable and
Of course.
make sure things don't get out of out of whack with them. But like you said, it's crucial that we get our customers' input.
Agreed.
It's crucial we have that into that. So you have any before you head off to your referee? Hey, you can close them in Detroit, bro, because you're no spring chicken.
Oh, easy there. Yeah, the referee's starting.
Mhm.
Yeah, basketball season has already started, so I'm getting up and down the court just like I could when I was 35 years old. But no, we do that. We do it every year for all the referees in Central Massachusetts. We come on and we give them an opportunity to speak to the referees, ask us any questions. We try to provide just like a good teacher would do to parents ahead of time. I want to give you every opportunity to ask questions. I want to be as clear and transparent as possible. I want to make sure the rules are very, very clear before we come there, because at the end of the day, we're there to make sure the game is held at the highest integrity. So just like a teacher, everything I do has something correlation back into teaching. So and it's fun, man.
Just a quick shout out. Hey, Shika, I love the McKinney Vento show you had this Saturday.
uh,
I was in the middle doing a couple of things, wasn't able to comment a lot. I saw the video. Great job. Thank you for, because you know what? That's another thing we need to talk about.
it is.
Homelessness. We
That's
need to
real.
talk about
That's
our homeless.
everywhere. That's real.
We need to address that. You know, Shika brought in a team member that she knows, talked about it. Even when you mentioned that, to think of all the brand new team members that we've hired this year. Have we really gotten dirty with them about McKinney Vento?
No,
Not only that, but have we talked to them about what we can and can't do with discipline with
that's
McKinney
changing.
Vento?
Yeah, changing drastically right in front of our eyes.
You know,
So,
'cause we can't give consequences to kids that are homeless. Did you know
no,
that?
no.
I'm
And procedurally, there are a lot of things you have to do now that the laws are changing to ensure that kids can't be expelled and they can't be kicked out. They got to make sure they have access to learning. It's the old mentality of we're just going to kick you out and not educate you can't exist anymore with public funding. It can't. So there are always things happening, and it's always evolving. We just had a training this past week with our district attorney, and they came in and they're laying out, here are the letters you have to use. Here's the hearing process. You cannot suspend until you do these things. And they're right. And you have to be consistent with that in the litigious society that we have today. So you got to make sure that you dot your I's and cross your T's. And every child deserves to be in the classroom unless there's something egregious. And we always say that it's got to be egregious to a level that they just can't be there. And it's very clearly defined under the felony laws and things of that nature. But
And when we break it down, it comes down to the way that we create the climate and the
yeah,
culture in the classroom, in the
correct.
campus.
Yeah,
Because you know what? If we create an environment where the kids are bored, whether it be from the main chair down, then we're gonna have that discipline. We're gonna have those
right.
issues. There's no learning going on, and then that lesson that you did that day on A squared plus B squared equals C squared better be engaging, because you know what? TikTok is funner than you are. Because if you're not, you know that kid's gonna flip out that phone. He's gonna be down here doing the little nonsense,
Yes,
and
he
it creates
is.
all those, and they're homeless being at school. They say it's true, Shika.
You're right. Shaker is right. I agree.
It's true. Hey, you know what,
100%.
Shika? I think that's something that probably we could do together. You have more, if you have more connections in regards to people that address, McKinney Vento, and put it out there.
Yep.
Well, I'll reach out to you, Shika.
Yeah,
See
I'd
what we
love
can
to hear
do.
that. I'd love to get somebody on has a deeper dive into that as well, because it does affect every public school out there, everywhere you go. So,
All right. So hey,
hey, my
I know you
friend,
got a meeting. I know you got a meeting.
I
Hey,
do.
just real quick, everybody, remember that this Thursday we got our third round of superintendents. We got some superintendents that are on fire. We have followers. Superintendent Fitch of Principal Cafele. Principal Cafele, thank you for joining. Kip, Shika, thank you for being here tonight. Mel
Mel,
from
yep. Mel's always
Colombia,
here.
thank you for being here. And this Thursday, join us for the Red Zone 1 hour earlier. Dean, 1 hour earlier.
1 hour earlier,
O'clock. We
8 o'clock.
remember what I said.
No, I,
Remember
I, I recall that. Yeah, I recall that.
what
I
I
got
You're
you.
gonna text me on
Got you,
Wednesday.
cowboy.
It's gonna be fun. And then next week we have another awesome guest coming in, making sure that we're all together, going stronger. So thank you for joining us tonight at the flagship show. Thank you, Dean, for what you've created. Chris, thank you. Enjoy your family out there. Dean, if you get tired, I got a 3-year-old. I could ship him up to you.
Been there, done that. I have the book and I have the T-shirt, so you're
All
gonna be
right,
just
right.
fine. You're gonna be just fine with that. You keep rocking it, everybody out there. Hey, have a great week, everybody. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday night, and more importantly, keep being you, because every student needs the best version of you. Have a great week, everybody.